we are joining in from all the parts of the world. So somewhere it's night, I believe, somewhere it's early morning or afternoon, and somewhere midnight, I think. But we apologize for that, and we thank you all for joining us here as well. Please feel free to have a conversation before we begin in a moment.
Okay, Lori saying. I think my dog's barking now. Oh, who has the dog? Who has the dog that was barking? Oh, yeah, I know I do too. Ellen
Yes.
says, I'm in Maryland. So where are you guys? Where are you coming from?
Oh, we have a wide range here. So we have people from India, from
Florida,
Australia.
Yeah, it's 3 a.m. in the morning here in Australia.
It's close to midnight.
Oh, wow. Well, you're up.
Okay, with all our coffees and water, I'm going to start the show for everyone. Welcome you all, and also welcome to our audience watching us live on Facebook. Thank you for joining us for this artist talk in honor of our virtual exhibit open for the exhibit Collective Impact. I'm Nupur Sachdeva. I'm the International Artist Liaison with Ikouii, also an artist member. I have collaborated with a few of the artists as well, and I'm honored to be hosting this talk for you all. We also have wonderful interpreters here, Katrina Watson and Joy Marie, who has gracefully joined us really last moment. Didn't get a lot of time to prepare, but we really appreciate both of your time here, and thank you for doing this for us. And with Ikouii and all of the audience of every kind of community joining us, we thank you both for our time. We also have Lindy, Alyssa here, sorry, excuse me for that, our founder and curator of Ikouii Creative. She is going to be helping us with a lot of back-end things too. So if you see her moving around between Facebook and Zoom here, she is supporting her in all that she can here with questions and comments later. Alyssa, thank you for your efforts and your commitment with Ikouii to transform cultural institutions into engaging and meaningful space and making it inclusive for everyone. And this has been personally a very great place for me to collaborate with artists who have or do not have disabilities. This has been a wonderful experience for me, and I will take it forward by handing my talking points to Alyssa and let you take it up from here, because we have some exciting announcements for you all. Go ahead.
Thank you, Nupur, for the introduction. I am looking forward to hearing what the artists have to share with us today. It's great to see you all on here virtually meeting. And in the meantime, I guess I'll share a little bit about Ikouii and some of the things that we have been up to this year. As Nupur mentioned, we support and provide opportunities for artists with disabilities. And some of the things that we do is we provide educational opportunities, opportunities to exhibit and share art. And we also provide collaborative opportunities with organizations. Another part of our mission is working with other organizations to be more inclusive and be able to provide services for all audiences. So early this year, we released a book, our first book project called Inside Their Studio. It is a collection of artists who are located all over the globe, and they share their art journey their inspirations, their art process, the things that they have to overcome, and the things that they have accomplished. It's a really great book. And I have a surprise for you guys today. I actually have a sample of the book here. I don't know if you guys can see. It's big. It's 8.5 by 11.
Awesome.
Hey.
Hey.
Really great. I am very happy with this body of work and grateful to the artists who participated in this project for sharing their stories and giving us a glimpse inside their studio. The book has been reviewed and endorsed by Ikouii Open. I'm pretty sure I'm probably saying his name wrong. I'm not sure. He is an international leader in the arts and disability community. So that was really great to get his review and endorsement. If you pre-order your book earlier this year, you should be receiving your copy very soon. And if you haven't, definitely go on our website and order. It's available inside a shop. Okay, so that's that. And so something I want to mention is that we are an organization that's founded on accessibility, inclusion, diversity, and equality. Those are the things that we value. And we have zero tolerance policy towards discrimination or threats to human rights of any kind, including racism. So in response to the current racial tension in our country, in the world, we will use our platform to educate, connect, and provide resources as part of the movement for real sustainable change, specifically for disabled Black people who make up for 50% of victims of police brutality, especially those who are Black, on the autism spectrum, deaf, or have mental illness. You can visit our website and find resources for how you can donate, volunteer, educate, and toolkits for survival. So, just wanted to mention that. And in addition, please make sure you are subscribed to our newsletter and following us on social media to stay updated in our efforts, in our programming, calls for art, events. We have a lot of great things planned for the rest of the year. We have another virtual exhibition coming up in August, so you definitely want to check out that. And today we actually need your help. We are giving out awards again this year. So you guys have to vote on your favorite artists. So after you view the exhibition and tune in for the artist talks, go on our Facebook. There will be a poll and you can vote. The audience who are viewing it right now, you can vote. Okay, and then we'll announce who is the winner of the People's Choice Award. And there will also be an award for Best in Show and honorable mention. Same awards we gave out last year. And so that concludes all my announcements for today. And I just want to thank all the artists, all our volunteers, all our staff for making this a success. I appreciate you guys. And thank you to those who are tuning in and have been sharing the exhibition. And I appreciate you guys. And that's it.
Thank you. Those were amazing announcements. We are excited for the first book. And now, as she's mentioned, I'm excited for the awards too. So everyone who's watching, keep a notepad out, take notes of what the artists are sharing, select your favorite artist, and please feel free to vote on Facebook for that. For those of us who are joining us right now, we are about to begin our conversation with Ikouii artist for the launch of our virtual exhibit, The Collective Impact. Please note that all the artwork in Ikouii are for sale, and you can log on to our website and inquire for any of your personal favorite piece. And please support our artist, the amazingly talented artist, because I'm going to show you a sneak peek of their work in this conversation as well. You can also support by making donations, as Alyssa said, but there are some cool merchandise on the Ikouii shop too, so please make sure to check them out. This talk that we're having right now would be available on YouTube with a transcript in a few days. So if you miss anything at this point today and you have other commitments, please make sure to check us out later on YouTube. We will have 2 sessions right now in the conversation with 7 artists in each session. And if you are having any questions or comments about their work, please feel free to drop them on our Facebook Live, and I can jump between this conversation and there to ask your questions. We will also have about 5 minutes after each session to talk about questions and comments that you share on Facebook Live. I will keep a check of the questions, but I've missed any. Please mention the name of the artist that you're addressing the question to. That would be helpful. Those were the notes for starting the conversation. I will be sharing my screen and taking off and sharing this common ground again. So please bear with me on that moment. And let's begin our conversation. We have our first artist here, Labdhi, to start with. So I'm gonna go ahead and share her work. That's her work that you see on screen right now. I'm gonna shut myself, give you 30 seconds of silent viewing of her work, and we'll begin the conversation. Okay, so that were a few glimpses of Labdhi's work. Hi, Labdhi. Thank you for joining us today for this call. And in your bio, I could read a few things that you have been exhibiting since 2012, and your background kind of interested me too, having an economist and an art therapist background. So how did that work? What inspires you? And what would you like to share with our audience who's watching you live right now?
First and foremost, thank you so much. I'm really happy to be part of a global exhibition. So kudos to you. You guys are doing great work. Well, my journey as an economist started when I was quite naive and I really didn't know. And I was like in the herd. Everybody was like, you know, you have to do something about yourself, create an identity, and so on and so forth. So really to work from economist to art therapist in the 10 years, I really realized what I wanted to do. And art came very naturally to me. I used to paint while I was in school, but I wasn't given that much importance because you always think that being an artist is like being a hobbyist. You know, you cannot really make a career in it. It's difficult. It cannot be full time. How are you going to sustain yourself in X, Y, Z? So I really did not listen to my heart because I think I couldn't listen that time, and I'm very glad I didn't. And over the 10 years of time, I think I could travel. I could meet a lot of people and I could understand myself so much better, which also explains in the kind of work I do. I do finger painting art, and I really don't use any tool because I feel whatever thoughts come to my mind, I intuitively want to put that out without even any thoughts of using a technique or a tool, just using my hand and using whatever color is possible around me. So that's literally my journey, and it's very experimental. It has been very self-taught. Every single stage I would fall down, I would come up, and I think it has made me very resilient as a person. So yeah, that's how it is. Shows in my work possibly, or at least I try to.
It does. I think it does in the colors. They're really strikingly saturated, and I do see the strokes have power in them. So do you select the colors by something in mind? And especially the 3 works that we saw named Kaya. Was there a theme behind them?
I definitely wanted to keep something which was a very like strong message. So metallic color signifies the energy which comes from the soul, because we always identify energy as light. And I wanted something very sparkling, bright, which would, come breaking through the body. So Kaya basically is work of self-acceptance. And it's really important in our society, because most of people I see around me are struggling with that acceptance of being, just a human being. And I feel that to have a better society, everybody needs to introspect themselves, that what are their needs, what are they thriving for? Are they being diverted in some other form? Are they diverted in being a fearful person, insecure person? And these sort of things, you really cannot like locate them unless until you go deep inside and ask these questions to yourself: what kind of person I want to be? How do I see myself? Is it enriching my soul? Is it helping me be a better person? And that's what Kaya came from, accepting my being, that there are certain flaws. And I just want to live with them and help them grow in a better way. Like, I want to convert my flaws into my original being, and that's okay. There is nothing wrong in it. So that's what my is about.
And then, is there a significance to the female body form that you used in this work?
Well, to be honest, I can only relate to my own self and my own body. So when I see this is the most I've lived in. This is the most I have been with someone. I have lived with my own self, and I can only relate to myself completely, unconditionally, without any barriers and walls. I can be honest and naked. So I feel that for me, I'm just depicting something which I feel very personal. But at the same time, I know that there is someone out there who feels the same, and I would like to connect in the same space. But without being intentional, without creating a strategy, or without creating a formula out of it. I just wanted it very organic, that this is me, and I know it could be with someone else too.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Labdhi. It was really inspirational to be your own self. I'm going to take notes for my own work here too. So there's going to be a little of cheating here, taking notes for my own personal practice and my own personal way of living. So thank you, Labdhi.
Thank you so much.
And I am trying to see on Facebook if we have any questions here, because there's about a 30-second lag that happens between Zoom and Facebook as we go live. So let's see. Any of the artists in conversation have any questions for her?
Chicago checking in.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on to our next artist and come back to questions later, Abdi. Okay, thank you so much. Next, I'm gonna share my screen again and show you all Brittany's work right here. I love how silently we look at artwork here. It doesn't happen in art galleries. So coming back to us. Hello, Brittany. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to read a few little statements from your bio to share more about your background for our audiences. They are my favorite lines from it, so please feel free to add more to it as you start sharing about your work. Over the years, Brittany continues to draw art series, which are more of digital sketches. And she shows her deep-rooted deaf culture and sign language through passion of art. Brittany uses her art to show a visual emotion connection to sign language, which it has to offer to the world. And I could strongly see them in the artworks that we showed right now. They have really a strong element with those muted pastel colors. I love the colors too. So I would open it up to you, Brittany, and please share more about your work.
Well, I was making this series because I had been focusing on sign language, and we had the COVID-19 pandemic hit, and so I wanted to put out a message with a different energy. The first one was help, and then the second one was support, and it kind of went from there. So the series really, for me, the whole series will be out next week, but I wanted to send a clear message relating to sign language. Froze a little bit, sorry. Yeah, I wanted something that was a little more low tech, and so I could honor the space and remind people that we're building. You've got that hand shape, and we're building from the ground up for that. And a lot of people think that sign language isn't a real language, but it is in and of itself a true language. And we wanted to remind people that, this is our sacred language. And this is a language that we use growing up. And my sister was also deaf, so we would sign together. And so it's become part of my, sorry, it's freezing. Yes, so my sister and I would sign, and I wanted to put a message out there so that people would recognize ASL as a language. And I want to share it with the world. Oh, and I wanted to show my digital art. I started working on the computer when I was 3. And I just really got into technology, and I also really liked art. So I was able to combine those two interests to make this kind of art.
That's wonderful. And for this moment in COVID, where everything is about technology, I think you were earlier ahead and used technology as the game changer. So that's great. And is there a particular program you use? What's your process like? How do ideas come to you? And I would also want to know more about the little people that are actually supporting that sign language. So in the artwork, I could see little people supporting the hands. So if you want to talk more about that.
Oh, yeah. So I use Photoshop and Wacom, W-A-C, Wacom, yeah, okay, And so I use that for the art. And as far as the people under there, it was a matter of, it's not easy to help. It's not going to be a one and done easy thing. If you really want to be an ally and help support a community, it has to be hard work. So that was supposed to convey that. It's not easy. It's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of emotional labor. And it takes a lot of mental fortitude to do that.
That's so true. So on our Facebook chat, I can see that Amy's commented that great work, Brittany. She loves it. Gwen has commented about Labdhi's work. People are hopping on and they are adding little comments there. So anyone who's joining right now, these works are available on Ikouii site. So please feel free to check them out there as well. Thank you so much for sharing about your work, Brittany. And I'm gonna move on to our next artist. So bear with me as I share my screen.
You know.
We have Jaejoon on. So I have the installation work from Jaejoon here. Please have a look at it and we'll talk more.
Hold on just 1 second.
Sure.
Okay. All right, I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm estimating 30 seconds here. So I believe everyone could get a chance to have a closer look at the works that we shared. I'm gonna hand it over to Jaejoon. I could read a little in your bio that you have a mechanical engineering background. So does that help you in your installations in terms of finding the right ground? And what inspires you to make your work?
Hi, I'm Jaejoon. I live in the Brooklyn right now, and I went to school in Baltimore. Like for my after I studied engineering in Korea, and I didn't finish that school, and I transferred to the art school in Baltimore, MICA. So I went there for my undergraduate and then grad school over there, and I finished last year, and I moved to Brooklyn. Right now I stay there and here and work in Brooklyn right now.
Oh, wow.
And so for my work, so talking about my work, so my work involves the careful use of the everyday material. So the object reflect experiences, phenomena, and reflection in a determined moment. Any reflection from socio-political, philosophical, scientific, or whatever point of view refers to them. I am interested in the fact that the different kind of experience people have in life and therefore attribute to object. To me, everyday objects with connotations and narrative are very inspiring. So that is the reason I use the everyday object for my work. So uh, if you guys remember the left work in the photo the previously is the Pinocchio work. The title is My Nose Will Grow Now. It's about the inspiration of that works are mathematical themes, which is the Pinocchio paradox, also known as liar paradox. It arises when Pinocchio says, "My nose will grow now." So if Pinocchio were to say, "I'm a boy," this could be either true or false. But the Pinocchio sentences, "My nose will grow now," can be neither true nor false. So I use that mathematical quote, and I just used the Pinocchio wooden Pinocchio doll, and I put it on the wall and just cut the nose and I hang toward the wall. And then also I transform everyday object through manipulation and arrangement, like a subtle gesture on the object, such as juxtapositions, reorder, merge, and substitution, deliver the common things to uncommon. The transformation can happen instantly and quickly, so I keep thinking about how to unlock the object. So sometimes it can take a month, like few days, or sometimes it can take a minute. So the photo on the right side is the title is the earth is if the earth shape were shape of the donuts. So it's just the word map, like word map, but it is crumpled. Uh, I made it is last year, but I think it kind of addressed something somehow uh, at current moment, because the pandemic happened also, especially in this moment, like horrible situations, you know. So I think even though I made it last year, it has a different meaning on right now. So this I really like, in the uh, I'm using the point when I'm using the ready-made object. And my practice is I don't usually finalize my work until I actually install them in the exhibition space. And because many important decision makings from during the installation or even at the last minute. So I kind of trust myself, my like moment inspiration. So sometimes many things change when I install the exhibition space. So I think this experience, like this is almost like my first virtual exhibition. So I think this is also very interesting and very good experience for me as a installation artist. So yeah, thank you for selecting me this show. Thank you guys.
Of course. It's a different way to see installation art on a virtual platform, right?
Right.
You don't have the site, but you can still feel the site virtually.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm making any sense right now, but I think you get it. And do you select the site or first and then make the artwork, or do you, is it the other way around, or just happens?
I think it's later. I don't really select the site. I'm just like made my work. I don't think about the future installation space, but just to make the work. And when the space, I have a given space and I go there, I check there, and then I think about my work. And I don't want to just like hanging on the like wall, like a more, I want to challenge myself about the space. So I'm trying to do some more like the instant like moments.
That's wonderful.
Mhm.
I'm going to check if there are any questions or comments. I think some people are typing. I did see a few more comments for Brittany. People are loving the work. And I do see some comments about the next session artist coming on, so I'm excited for that. I'm gonna hop on to our next artist now, and that's gonna be Ellen. Bear with me as I share my screen. And that's her work for everyone to view. And I'm gonna be quiet now. Okay, coming back to us. Hello, Ellen. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, hello. Thank you for having me. I have a question for the interpreter.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see which interpreter it is. Okay. Trying to figure out how to make the interpreter big. Yeah, I'm looking at it in gallery. Sorry.
It's okay. Please take your time.
Okay. I can see the interpreter now. All right.
Okay. So for you, I actually took out a little from your bio, which was educational to me.
Oh, I can't hear.
And I will read that part out for everyone. Deafhood, a term coined by Dr. Paddy Ladd, signifies the process of understanding and embracing one's deaf identity. For many, the deafhood journey involves deaf view or image art, DY, I believe I'm saying it correctly, a genre that emerged in the late 1980s. Divya. Okay, sorry.
Divya.
Thank you for correcting me. This style of visual art represents deaf experiences in hearing dominant culture through repeated imagery. And I am now going to open it up for Ellen to speak about her work. I loved, there was so much going on in there, and the color blue, the tone of blue that you use, and you're wearing blue, there is some story behind blue. So I would love to know more about that as well.
Oh, you want to know more about the color blue?
Your artwork too.
I mean, it's just, water's blue. Painting it inspires me. I'm inspired by Pablo Picasso and his and his time in Spain when he was that artist in his work. The title of the painting is Pandora's Box, and it's about opening up and seeing everything that's going on inside us in the deaf world, and it's about oppression. It's about autism. There's a lot of symbolism and motifs. There's a lot in there. It's about power. It's very powerful painting. There are many elements in there. Starting with Milan, that's community or town in Italy. In 1880, their teachers had a conference. They are talking about teaching deaf children in schools. And the philosophy was to remove sign language from the curriculum. And they did not want to have sign language to be part of the curriculum at all. And that completely changed deaf life forever from that point on. So I will tell you a few of the motifs that are in there. There's so many. So I just want to pick a few things. You'll see a woman a statue of a woman.
Yeah.
She's holding a flag, and she is celebrating. And so that's in Washington, D.C. The army is around the woman, and she is, the deaf sculptor is from France, and she sculpted that in the 1900s. Now with Black Lives Matter protests, you know, imagine that deaf sculptor, you know, it's just really significant. So we know that the big elephant in the room is they're not seeing the big problem. And the big problem is Alexander Graham Bell. He didn't make the telephone. He stole that idea. And he made, he's had a deaf mother, but he made signing, he outlawed signing in schools. And specifically about the color blue, I don't know. I think I just like the color. You know, it's color is a kind of language for me. I don't know. I don't know how to say it. Yeah.
Thank you. That was so in detail. And I do know there's a lot going on in those. Every little corner of that, of the both the paintings was had a deeper meaning to it. And specifically, as you mentioned about the elephant in the room, yes, everyone needs to just start addressing the elephant in the room and just be okay with saying things. So thank you for sharing that point.
Yeah, and then one other thing, you see, just a small one, you'll see an hourglass upside down.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's, especially in this time of the pandemic and with Black Lives Matter, that represents time and a time of, you know, time is of the essence, and the quality of life, about you know, that we need to work together in order for people's rights and all of these things, for equality and for quality of life. You know, we don't want to waste time, and we need to change the world. And yeah, people need to act with humanity.
Yep, just being human, all of us. That's so true. And thank you for sharing that message. I think we at Ikouii and having this platform, thank you for using it to share your voice and share this message of being equal and human. So thank you so much. I'm sure all of our viewers are also agreeing with us on that. I can see a few messages for Jaejoon and Labdhi about their work coming up on Facebook comments. So thank you so much for mentioning that. Thank you, Ellen, for sharing about your work. I'm going to take a more deeper look at that, because I think
I appreciate it.
with the scale of it too, anytime I would have an opportunity to be in front of that work, it would be so different than seeing it on the slides right now. So thank you for your message. And I will now move on to the next artist. And if we have any questions coming up for you, Ellen, I will bring them up to you again.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen again here. So that was Ellen's work that we talked about. Moving on to Zach. Okay, I'm gonna start addressing Zach again. Hi, Zach, how are you doing?
Hello, Nipur. I'm very well, thanks. Thank you so much for hosting us all.
No problem. And I'm saying a hi and hello just so that I know that you're up and it's 3 a.m. there in Australia. So just a hi, hello. We are addressing you now if you're up from your nap. Thank you so much.
It's funny because I completely miscalculated the time zones and I was expecting it to be at about 10 p.m. at night, or no, 11 p.m. at night, but I was 4 hours off. But I got a bit of sleep, so it's...
We really appreciate you being here, and thank you for joining us. I'm gonna read a little part from your bio to share with our viewers a little background about your work. I'm gonna start with what we could obviously see in that was a vehicle and movement. So Zach explores themes of nomadism and movement through an adaptive process-driven art practice. So that was a key point that interested me. And then you respond intuitively to the world around you with the contemporary imagery. And I would want to know why you picked that particular truck to be in that image, because it had little skulls in there too. So take it over, Zach, talk about your work and share more.
Thanks very much. Well, the work that you just had on the screen, I don't know if it's actually part of the exhibition, but it was one of the extra works that I submitted. But that particular work is in the same series of vehicles that I painted from life. Basically, they're all real vehicles that exist in my day-to-day world here in Australia. They're all vehicles that I've seen in passing that I've liked the look of. And yeah, for me with trucks and painting vehicles, I love capturing their energy and their sense of movement and motion. And I guess the different characteristics and uses that different service vehicles can have. But also I see the vehicle as a metaphor for humanity and for, I guess, a really good symbol of society and how we build our society around, you know, everything that we need to do practically in terms of moving things around, transporting goods, and yeah, so I guess I'm just responding to you know, the world that I see around me. I do a lot of driving for work, so I'm constantly on the road, and I see vehicles, and obviously the ones that have a lot of presence, the vehicles that are big and imposing on the road, they're the ones that catch your eye, and they're the kind of vehicles that inspire me, and and through these I can tell stories. That particular work that was just on the screen, in the number plate on the front of the vehicle, it actually had my initials. So there was that connection there, because it almost like had my signature on it already. And it also had the skull in the window, which I thought was a really powerful symbol, and also really funny, weird thing to have. That was a demolition truck that was parked in my church car park after there was a fire in the same building as our church, and they were doing demolition work there. And then so all of these visual imagery and visual metaphors all kind of working together to tell its own story. And yeah.
Anything about the process that you want to share? What kind of work it is, and is that the only kind of language that you use in terms of enamel on canvas, or is there any other media that you use?
Yeah, I work in lots of different mediums, and when I studied art at university, I actually studied sculpture, and also performance art and installation art. So I can really relate to Jaejoon's work, being an installation artist myself. So I often let the idea or the concept dictate what my art medium will be. So, but lately I have been doing a lot of painting and drawing, simply for practicalities. But yeah, I really love the medium of drawing and painting, and being able to express myself, you know, in that form. With this series of vehicles, the process is basically documenting vehicles that I like the look of in the streets, or even as I was driving, and I would just take a quick photo, do like a little sketch of it, and then I'd go and do a larger scale painting or drawing. And in the exhibition, I think it's the one on the top, is a small print that I made. So I did a drawing of it, and then I put a sheet of clear perspex over the top and kind of traced it, but carving into the perspex as you would with like an etching, and then then do an intaglio print of that. So there's a bit of a multiple layering of different techniques, and yeah, I just enjoy experimenting with lots of different art mediums and that kind of thing.
That's great. Thank you, Zach. I'm gonna get back to you if we have any more comments or questions in our Facebook chat. We have a comment for Ellen there, so I'm gonna read it out to you, Ellen, right now. Gwen says, I enjoyed Ellen's work in last year's exhibition and was glad to see more of her work this year. In both Ellen and Brittany's work, I think the way sign language is incorporated into the work encourages a hearing viewer to learn more about that language and community. I'm not sure I'm wondering this well, but I enjoyed both artists' work, and while I had to work to understand the language being used, it felt like an invitation to support and build the community. I would totally agree to Gwen there. I felt the same as I saw your work. So thank you, Ellen and Brittany, for sharing and bringing that educational side for us in your work. Okay, and we're gonna hop on. Oh, sorry.
And, thank you very much for your comment, Ellen says.
I hope Gwen is listening to that. Okay, I'm gonna hop on to last but not the least artist for this session, Laurie, and bear with me as I share my screen here. So that's one of her work, a collage piece. And I do have a video to show you all too. So and I'm gonna go on to the video right now. Just playing it one more time again. Okay, coming to Laurie. Hello, Laurie. Thank you so much for joining us for this conversation.
Hello.
That was a pretty short, but there was so many things in that little video. So I'm going to let you speak more on that. But I do see that you have specialization in collages, acrylics, oil pastels, and expressed your work largely through the reflection of your ability to look at scenarios in depth, in ways of exploring the bare soul and emotions and milestones. So please share more about your work. We would love to hear that.
All right. Well, really, I mean, my whole life, I've just been trying different kinds of mediums, like some of the other artists mentioned, sometimes, life gets a little off track and, you can't be working on your art as much. You have to earn a living and you have to put food on the table. But there's still this desire in the back of your mind to want to create things. So a lot of my series are about personal challenges and things that I've been through. And I've always had a fascination with the aesthetic of collage. It can come, people throw things away like books and magazines and all kinds of visual art, and I can take that and make something out of it. I mean, I've been doing this sort of thing for years, tearing up pictures and paper and making collages for a long time. And I also do expressive writing, which that's more, the mood and emotion in the moment. But really, I have never planned a collage. I don't sit and think, oh, I need to set this up and make a collage. It's just something that hits me in the moment. I'll open up a book and I'll just start ripping out the pages and things. And then I'll try to make a story out of it. And sometimes I'll have to take a break because it dredges up a lot of emotions, and then I'll have to come back. And sometimes I have to, do some research, and I don't always have access to the internet, so I'll go to the library. That's the best place to do that kind of research. And I'll find all kinds of books. And unfortunately, they close at 4 or 5 o'clock. So I'll still be thinking about it after I have to leave, and I have to wait until I can get access to the internet, because they're only open 4 to 7. Oh, back in the day, we only used, the library, but now we have the internet and we are just 24/7 bombarded with this information.
Yeah.
So when we lay these things out, it does bring up a lot of emotions. For example, George Floyd. Hold on just a second. So on the 25th of May, I started thinking, Oh, I started cutting up planners, like calendar planners, to represent politics, government, and how it's crumbling and just falling apart. And I just happened to find a glove. It was a red glove. And I was thinking the glove is more of like that old spirit of challenging each other, like throwing the gauntlet down back in the day when you'd have like a duel of some kind.
Yeah.
And so that red glove to me represented bureaucracy, and you know, the idea of taking the fingers off of the edges of the gloves, cutting the fingers off, is a Japanese tradition of honoring. It's a punishment. So I don't know the word for it, but when they cane the fingers, and so that was what it sort of reminded me of. And it just so happened this picture of this Black woman, she just had this natural look about her, and it just came together for me. All the colors and everything just came together. And I post a lot of my daily sketches and things on Instagram. And just so happened that Alyssa contacted me while I was in the middle of all this. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Thank you for, you know, allowing me to kind of step out of my, you know, my comfort zone. You know, this is my first time doing something like that. So I was very, you know, very excited to be a part of that. And
we are glad you did
it. Mind to a lot of things. But I saw that picture as a way of expressing what I see happening now, the systematic racism. I'm looking at the system. I am not looking at individuals. So there are 7 concerns based on personal experience and work. I've worked in a deaf school. I've worked in public health. And so I've been a witness to systemic racism and how wealth and employment and education are all factors, the justice system, and you know, watchdogs groups, and how that affects healthcare. So I wanted to try to pull all of that together in one photograph. So I'm happy that you felt what I was going for there. When you see it, you get that striking impact when you look at it.
Yeah. You did answer some of the questions that were coming in. Was there any significance to the color red in the collage? You also spoke about how the collage work comes to you, and is it naturally or you plan them? So yeah, you answered all the questions that were coming in. That was great. And I apologize for the video part. I think for an artist in the next session, Loraine, and I might have mixed the name. So we were talking about the collage work here, and Lori, we really loved it. I'm seeing a few more comments coming about work as well. And we are running a little over time for the next session. So the artist coming in next, please bear with us. I'm gonna share work of another artist, Luke, who is a part of this session too, and Zach will speak more about his work. So just give me one more moment here to share my screen. Let's go. So here's Luke's work, and please take a moment to look at it.
If I may, I'll start talking about the artwork while it's on the screen.
Sure.
The image on the left, which is a large canvas painted by Luke at his home studio, that was done in 2018 or maybe the start of 2019. It's
Mhm.
so
Sorry.
I
Pausing it and coming back to the screen for our viewers who are looking at our interpreters to get the message. So if they are not on the screen, they might not be able to know what you're speaking. So go ahead.
I work with Luke Abdallah. I support him as an artist through a disability art program here in Sydney called Studio Arts.
Wow.
And I work with Luke on a regular basis, have been for a number of years. And he's an artist, very, very passionate, dedicated artist who's blind and also mute. So can't see, can't speak, but he loves art and he also loves music too. And I help him with his art. So he, over the years, has developed his art practice and I've helped him take it to the next step and on a much larger scale, actually making artworks using his cane as the paintbrush. So we paint mostly on the floor, big, large-scale paintings done on the floor where he can actually dip his cane into paint and then use his movements to kind of to make marks onto the canvas. And the main feature in the exhibition, his cane painting number 8, it is built up with layers using like a paint roller that you normally use to paint, like for house painting, to paint walls, and big brushes, and obviously his cane, and then lots of other things, splatters and drips and all that. So yeah, Luke is very keen ear for music as well, so we always have music playing when he paints, and it's kind of an emotional response to music in a lot of ways. And I love the way that his painting captures his energy in all of his movements. Yeah, it's really quite special.
Yeah, I could actually imagine him doing the work the way you explained it. So thank you for adding that. Is there a significance for the colors he uses, or is it something that comes to him in the mood of the music?
Yeah, color's a tricky one.
I'm sure.
Because Luke obviously has some concept of color, but for him it's all about the energy and the process of painting, rather than the color. Color's secondary, and that's actually a good talking point of the other artwork, which he collaborated with another studio artist that I work with, Elliott. That was more of a black and white study of tone and mark making. But color, we do explore color through Luke's painting, and he often associates color with taste. So we've created artworks where we'll give him a flavored lolly, like a Skittles candy, and it'll be lemon, for example, which is yellow, and then I'll get him to paint with yellow, the color yellow, so that he can appreciate and experience color in that way.
That's so cool.
But yeah, there's a lot to explore still with Luke, and we're really excited to also combine making art with making music, because he loves music as well. So watch that space. We're going to develop some performative pieces combining art and music. And Luke's also featured in the Ikouii book. So if you get your hands on that, you'll be able to read about his work there.
Thank you for plugging that in for us, Zach. A lot of us are in there, and we would love for you all to read and know more of us and our work. Thank you, everyone, for joining this session. Everyone's enjoyed your work. I can see that on our comments. And it was a great session, starting from individual perspective to getting on to world perspective, talking about the society, talking about the bigger picture and the elephant in the room, and then coming back to just our senses and how things are installed around us. So thank you, everyone, for joining in. Please feel free to unmute or share anything you want to as we end this session. And for everyone who's listening us, I would just want to say that all of these works are available for purchase. So go on the site and buy and support our artists.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Lori says, thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna hang on this. We're gonna pause for a section and then come on with the next set of artists for our next session. So thank you so much, everyone. And if you have found your favorite artist already, please feel free to vote on our poll as well.
Thanks so much, Nupur.
Thank you, everyone. It
Thanks,
was meeting you.
It was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lovely to see all your faces.
Exactly. See the work and listen about every artist ideation. It's wonderful from every corner of the world.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Aletha. Ellen says.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks very much for organising, Aletha. You've done an amazing job. I'm going to go back to bed and take my little baby boy to bed as well.
Congratulations.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
He's
Please feel free
3.5 weeks old.
Sweet. Was it him waking you up at this night, or was it us? So we can take away the blame, right?
Well, thankfully he was awake for a feed at the same time anyway. Now it's time for bed.
Thank you.
Well
Take
done,
care.
everyone. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And I'll be in contact.
Yep. I'm going to start adding the next session artist. And if you want to leave and join us on our Facebook comments and have your questions there, please feel free to do so. Thank you, everyone.